What if LUDICOLO was in Gen 1 OU? I don't know why I said it like that, but doesn't matter, because this guy's pretty cool. And fun fact, I always knew about LUDICOLO as a kid, but as I used to play Heart Gold Soul Silver and went to the Battle Frontier, this guy confused the heck out of me, mostly because of his typing. No matter what move I used on it, I could never hit it super effectively, so I was super confused on how to actually beat this thing. And I was even more confused once I realized it was weak to flying and poison. I never figured out it was weak to bug. And I guess it isn't too hard to understand that, because this guy really does have a really unique typing, being water grass. And it's a typing that I wish we saw more often, and I feel like we should, because swamps, or just moss, or just anything of the sort, it's super common in real life, so I'm not sure why there isn't more of it. But LUDICOLO would definitely be a very interesting and fun Pokemon for Generation 1 overuse. Its typing and stab combinations already really good. It even has an amazing move pool to make it even better. Starting off with that speed makes it speed type Cloyster, which I'm gonna say for the most part is not a big deal. I think the biggest thing going for you is outspeeding Exeggutor, but it's good. Kind of annoying since Blizzard can 3-hit KO you, but at the same time, Cloyster's probably not risking a Razor Leaf in the first place. So for the most part, the Cloyster speed tie is inconsequential. Decent HP, good enough attack for Sword Stance. I'm not even sure if Sword Stance is super needed, but it's really cool just to have the option. With 100 special defense and 90 special attack, that means you're actually pretty decently bulky, all things considered. What's even better is with your stab combination. Water isn't really needed, so like, you have both Surf and Hydro Pump. You also have Thunder Punch, but none of those are really needed, because all three of those are handled just by Razor Leaf alone, and Razor Leaf is always a crit in Gen 1, so that's already just amazing. And along with Body Slam, which you can use for Sword Stance, you also have Hyper Beam. Probably not the most common thing in the world, but you might get away with speccing it in. Maybe over Body Slam. Blizzard, as always, is very good coverage, and it's the main reason why I think it's really good. You outspeed Exeggutor, because Sweet Powder is annoying, and with Blizzard, you could 3-hit KO it, which is pretty good. Its defense is okay, nothing to really write home about, and actually just in general, these stats seem kinda meh, but for Gen 1 exactly, it's not really that bad. Some other more obscure moves you can use would be Leech Seed, which is kinda bad in Gen 1, I wouldn't use it. Rest and Substitute aren't really worth it. Your subs aren't really that big, so Seismic Toss, you only need one to break it. You're not very bulky enough to where you can survive using Rest. And Seismic Toss is decent damage, but decent damage isn't good enough when you have things like Blizzard, Razor Leaf, or Sword Stance boosted physical moves. One move LUDICOLO really wishes it did have, however, is Earthquake. Because with Earthquake, you'll be able to hit Gengar hard, and just have a stronger physical move that doesn't have any drawbacks to it, which could make it better against Chansey. But to be fair, even with just Body Slam and one Sword Stance, Body Slam's already a 3-hit KO. So in all honesty, that's probably good enough. This guy's pretty cool, and maybe I should have used the theme that MNJTV uses for all his videos, but I don't want him to copyright me, the Mal. Let's just get on to the replays, shall we? Starting off with the boy himself, Tauros. Tauros being faster than you, preying on your physical defense and whatnot is really annoying, especially if he gets crits. But on the bright side, Razor Leaf is a 3-hit KO, and it looks like Body Slam without a crit is also a 3-hit KO. So you're probably not going to win most of the time, but I don't think that really matters, because I think it's pretty clear that Tauros just does not want to actually face you, because you can just do so much damage to it, which means you can take out Tauros with your own Tauros later. Snorlax is a lot tankier, so it can tank those Razor Leafs a lot better, which is definitely annoying. But Paralysis, the body slam, can also just damn you instantly. But just like Tauros, you can still put a lot of damage into it, but it's probably not the most ideal thing. Ironically, you probably do better against Amnesia Wax because you always hit through Amnesia with Razor Leaf. But even then, it's always a 4-hit KO, meaning that Snorlax can always rest off the damage. And I recently made a video with Abomasnow where it's sort of the same thing. So I know for a fact that Snorlax has enough rest to where it can stall out the Razor Leaf power points. But unlike Abomasnow, Ludicolo also has Sword Stance, which could potentially help you beat Snorlax a lot faster. But it's also more risky, because once Snorlax starts setting up, you're going to have not that many opportunities to go for Sword Stance in the first place. And while this is going on, may I please remind you guys that most of you aren't subscribed. We are currently at 975 subscribers, which is already a lot. But it's my goal to get to 1,000 subscribers before the start of May. It is currently April 22nd at the time of making this video. I know for a fact, if you guys like the video and subscribe, we can make it. I honestly think we can make it to 1,000 subscribers before April 30th. But that can't happen without your help. So I really appreciate the support. Thank you. And this is where I'm kind of disappointed. Because of course, you just need one Ice Beam. And that's all you need to freeze the Ludicolo. Would have been nice to see this play out more, but either way, I think this definitely already showed that Ludicolo could go either way with Snorlax as well as Tauros. I couldn't really tell you which one Ludicolo has a better matchup against, because I'm pretty sure in most cases it loses, but to the point where they're easily revenge killed afterwards. And then Chansey isn't really that bad, because I feel like Sword Stance is always guaranteed. So whether it be Hyper Beam or it's Body Slam, most likely, you're always going to be able to do really good damage, which is nice. And maybe even some leaders can use both. And if you use both, you definitely have the power to kill Chansey. So outside of just bad paralysis luck, you probably have this, to be honest. And then Ludicolo vs Alakazam. This one really surprised me. Now with Sword Stance, it's probably worth sending up in front of Alakazam, albeit incredibly risky. But if you do that, you can 2-hit KO it, which is nice. And to my surprise, Ludicolo can survive even after taking a special drop and some damage. Ludicolo is a lot bulkier than I would have imagined on the special side. That was pretty cool to see, not gonna lie. And I already talked about the Cloyster matchup, for the most part. Blizzard's a 3-hit KO, you just do insane damage. I didn't bother putting Explosion on this Cloyster, but it doesn't really matter. If you did so much damage that you're forcing the Cloyster to blow up, that's definitely a great matchup. There's nothing else to really say there. And then for Executor, this one I also talked about. Wizard is a 3-hit KO. And just like for my Rotom videos, for some reason, this Executor cannot hit Sweet Powders for the life of it. I do not know what's been going on lately. But if the Ludicolo, just like with Alakazam, it can still survive a Psychic with a special drop, which I think is impressive. Even if it didn't get to wake up, that's still something that I think is pretty cool. And if the Executor already put something else to sleep, you obviously do a lot better. And even with a special drop, I'm pretty sure Blizzard would kill anyways. Not to mention with your speed of 70, you have a pretty good crit rate all things considered. Or you can just be careful and just finish it off with a physical move instead. I got great Hyper Beam. I still think Hyper Beam, it's worth using every once in a while, because it will definitely throw people off guard. That's for sure. And then Gengar you just struggle against. Gengar resists Razor Leaf. It's immune to Body Slam and Hyper Beam. So you only have Blizzard and Surf, which don't do that much. It's kind of weird. This might be the first time ever where Gengar's poison typing is actually not just relevant, but beneficial to him. That alone makes me feel like LUDICOLO would make Gen 1 OU a lot better. Because Gengar being able to use its poison typing instead of hating it, I like that a lot. It's a shame that Gengar can't really take advantage of it in actual Gen 1 OU. And then Jolteon. Jolteon, unlike in other generations, is very tanky, or at the very least has high special, which means even a critical Razor Leaf doesn't really do that much. So in most 1v1s, I'm actually going to put my money on Jolteon winning, even without crits. Which doesn't matter too much since Jolteon is a crit machine. Next off, I believe this is Jinx. Without Lovely Kiss, both of you do pretty decent damage to each other. Jinx has a better crit rate, but LUDICOLO, if it really wanted to, can hit on the physical side. So it could go either way, except with how much faster Jinx is, and with the very high probability that it hasn't pretended to sleep yet, I think it's more accurate to put it in the bad matchup. But you can agree to disagree with me if you want, or tell me in the comments if you think it could go either way. Just like with Rhydon. Because if Rhydon had Mega Horn in this generation, it definitely would have held a chance. Don't believe me? Well, you're just wrong. Alright, next off. This is the Swellow one, and there's not much to really say here. Razor Leaf, Gobert. Swellow can paralyze, but then what? It goes to sleep, and then dies to 2 Razor Leaps anyways. Nothing it can really do. Same with Starmie. Starmie can hit with a crit Blizzard, or get a special drop with Psychic. But it's probably better off just going for Thunder Wave, and then either switching out, or praying that LUDICOLO gets full paralysis. But that's probably not going to work out for you, since LUDICOLO has enough damage to, like, out damage the cover, I guess you can say. So far, LUDICOLO, for the most part, has been brute forcing a lot of these, but this last one is definitely not the case. Because you have Blizzard for Zapdos, but it's not enough. Drill Peck is a 2-hit KO, and Blizzard's only a 3-hit. Even with a crit, you're not killing it, and a critical Drill Peck definitely OHKOs you. But to be honest, with how good LUDICOLO has had it up to this point, I think that's incredibly fair. So here is the tier list. This is meant to be in bad. Overall though, pretty good. As you would expect from a water grass type, LUDICOLO was very interesting and brought a lot to the table. You can maybe argue this being a good matchup now that I think about it. So I like it. I think LUDICOLO would be a lot of fun. And LUDICOLO would in fact be in Season 3 of Generation Jumble. I had a video having a council meeting going over that, as well as all of the other new Pokemon, such as Meganium, Vanilluxe, Palisand, Volbeat, etc. Check that video out if you're curious. But what do you think about LUDICOLO? You think it'd be OU? Or do you think it'd be something like borderline? Because something tells me it might be a little bit too good for underuse. But I don't think that even matters, because I think it has the moveset and good enough stats where it would be good in OU. But if it was, where would it rank on the viability rankings? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.